Hey, yo, one important thing that I learned in my life, one important, valuable thing that a lot of us may overlook or may not realize, because many times we look out from out within as opposed to in without. But one of the biggest lessons, biggest takeaways that I'm still having to learn to apply in my life, as I share it with you guys, and what it is that we're speaking of is the conversations that you're having with yourself, bro. The conversations that you have with yourself is far more important than the conversations that you have with others. For so many reasons. The conversations that you have with yourself is far more important than the conversations that you have with others. The conversation that you have with yourself is super crucial and far more crucial than the conversations that you have with others. I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say you're having a conversation with somebody and someone says not so good things to you, about you, or someone else. Let's just say they have not so good things to say to you. How you perceive yourself, regardless of how the next person perceives you, is far more important than the next person's perception of you. So let's just say you're not sturdy enough or having healthy enough conversations with yourself to where somebody can perceive something to you and you eat it and you believe it and you buy it and you start speaking the same exact things into your life that they're speaking into you, when in all actuality, you have the power of choice. You have the power to be able to control your own narrative. You have the power, you have the ability to accept what's being presented to you or reject what's being presented to you and pretty much create who you are before anybody can have an opinion that they express to you. And so this takes place and this becomes concrete when you're nurturing yourself, when you're watering yourself, the conversations that you're having with yourself. If someone else calls you ugly, do you call yourself ugly as well? On the flip side, if someone calls you attractive, are you already a confident person where it's like, okay, I'll take that with a grain of salt, but humbly, I already knew that. My bad, y'all. I had to swap cameras because the memory card on the camera that I was recording was full, but the show must go on. We got to keep it going. But like I said, the conversation that you have with yourself is far more important than the conversation you have with someone else, because if you don't establish understanding and clarity within yourself, if you don't establish your own language, an understanding of your own language, if you don't establish your own identity, if you don't establish your ability to be able to build yourself up, bro, to build your own conversation, your own narrative, to understand who you are when it comes to who you engage with and how you engage. If you don't establish any important variable when it comes to your own life, if you don't establish any type of stability when it comes to who you are, when it comes to your ability to communicate, then it's likely that any conversation that you have with the next person isn't necessarily going to lead to a healthy conversation with the next person until you have healthy conversations with yourself first. You have to have healthy conversations with yourself first. You have to understand it's more important to nurture the person who you are quicker than you could try to nurture someone else. You have to nurture who you are. You have to be mindful of the conversations that you have with yourself. The healthier the conversations that you have with yourself, it's likely you're going to project healthy conversations when it comes to someone else. It's likely you're going to have healthier conversations when it comes to other people. It's likely that you're going to know how to navigate and weed your way through understanding who you should be around and who you shouldn't be around based off of the standards that you set for yourself. You set standards when you have conversations with yourself, and those standards could either be positive or negative. The standard could be, you know what, I don't like myself today. The standard could be just having negative talks, negative conversations, to where when you have conversations and you try to have healthy, good, wholesome conversations with people, you'll never really be able to pull that out of you because you don't have them with yourself. You don't have them with yourself. That's why it's important to be careful of how you pour into yourself and not so much of what other people perceive of you and how they pour into you, bro. So before you even start trying to have conversations with other people, or I'll just say tread light when you have conversations with other people, if you're not having these healthy conversations with yourself, then you're likely going to create bad connections with people. You're likely going to create bad connections with people if you are not pouring into yourself positively, if you're not pouring positivity into your own verbiage, if you're not pouring positivity and having healthy conversations and having healthy outlets and healthy ways that you're establishing yourself. If you're not pouring positivity into yourself, if it's not healthy within yourself, if you are not being positive and nurturing yourself and creating fruit from yourself in a positive, healthy way, then you'll likely become the beta in another person's conversation, bro. You'll likely become the beta and not the alpha of your own life. You'll likely become a victim of someone else's opinion of you, where you'll find yourself repeating back to yourself what someone else has expressed to you, whether it's positive or negative. And so the conversations that you have with yourself is the fine line. That's the thing that distinguishes you, that puts you in a position to where no matter what anybody says, you already know who you are. You already know what time it is when it comes to yourself. Because the conversations that you have with yourself is healthy. If it's negative, again, you're likely not going to have great connections. If it's positive, even if the connections isn't so great, at the end of the day, you'll know how to navigate your way through these conversations and find your people. Due to the standards, the high standards that you set within yourself based off of what it is that you're doing, the conversations that you're having with yourself. So yeah, how you nurture yourself is how you communicate with others. So it's not so much about the conversations that you're having with the next person. Above all, it's about how you're talking and treating yourself. If you treat yourself kind, it's likely you're going to treat others kind. If you treat yourself negative, it's likely you're going to project negativity to other people, bro. That's why it's important to set the standard and make sure that how you treat yourself, the conversations that you have with yourself, is healthy. It's healthy above all, because that is how you then can communicate and establish healthy boundaries and healthy conversations with other people. So it starts with you. It all starts with you. It's far more important that you nurture yourself. You nurture your language. You find the love language within yourself. You find your own love language. You discover your own love language. You find the things that brings joy and fulfillment within your life. The things that brings joy, fulfillment, or peace of mind within your life, lean towards those things. Pour into those things. Discover your own love language, bro. Pour into who you are. Establish a connection with yourself as you are trying to establish connections with others, but it's more important to establish a connection with yourself, because that is going to lead you the way. It's going to teach you how to understand the dynamics of many different energies. It's going to teach you the dynamics in many ways of how you can see people when you see them. It's going to teach you the dynamics of other people's energies. It's going to teach you the dynamics of how people function, how people are, bro, and how you may need to receive them based off of you understanding yourself first, bro. Understanding the healthy conversations that you have with yourself. The healthy conversations that you have with yourself will establish ground when it comes to how you talk, how you communicate with others. It will establish ground. You'll be able to really be able to weed through the emotions and weed through the opinions of others when you establish ground with the connection that you have with yourself based on the healthy conversations that you have with yourself. And you have to be mindful of them, because sometimes it may not even be where you consciously are aware of the negativity that you are spewing based off of what you see, based off of being distracted from day-to-day life. So it's very important that you're mindful of what you're pouring into yourself, because it's crucial. It's far more crucial, far more important than the conversations that you have with other people. If anything, it teaches you how to have these healthy perspectives and healthy conversations with other people. It teaches you who to talk to, who not to talk to. It teaches you what to accept from others, what to receive from others, and what not to receive and accept, because you are already doing the work internally. And it's important for you to make sure that you're establishing a healthy conversation, healthy dynamics. Ultimately, when you have healthy conversations with yourself, it helps you have a healthy relationship with yourself. So the things that you say to yourself is super crucial. The conversations that you have with yourself is super crucial when it comes to your walk of life. Again, it sets the standard, it sets the tone for how you are to receive other people when they bring whatever energy your way. The conversation that you have with yourself sets the tone. It sets the standard. And trust me, other people can see it. Other people can see it. When you have conversations with people, they'll be able to see the range of motion that you're working with. They'll be able to see how built you are when it comes to how you communicate. They'll be able to see how built you are. They'll be able to see if there's weak links in your communication to yourself by way of what you say and what you say to them and how you speak to them. They'll be able to see it, bro. And so it's not so much about them to begin with, it's about you. I'm just saying, when you may feel that it's more necessary to pay attention to the conversations that you have with others, it's far more important to pay attention to the conversations that you have with yourself, because that is what's going to dictate the actual conversations that you have with the next person, whether it's healthy or whether it's not. Anyway, not going to keep you guys long today. Hopefully y'all are appreciating the content. Again, if you're liking it, man, please just support. Please support this positive vibe. Make sure you guys lock all the way in and subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys who come through and support, man. I appreciate all of you who weigh in, all of you guys who just support what it is that we do. It's a positive vibe, real talk community. So feel free to come through in the comments and share your thoughts, all right? I will see you guys in the next one. I appreciate and love all you guys. Peace and blessings. One love, strength.